Hi, I'm Chef Richard. Welcome to Chef Richard's Kitchen. On today's episode, we're going to do an old favorite standby side dish. Today's Labor Day. And what do you do on Labor Day? Besides labor, usually it's you grill, you put something in the smoker, you have a picnic, things like this. Kind of one of the last holidays you really get before fall and some of the nasty winter weather comes dragging in. So today we're going to do beans, and everybody pretty much likes baked beans. These are some of the beans that basically I grew up with, and maybe that's why I have such a fondness for them. But we're going to make some of these, and we're going to doctor them up quite a bit, and we're going to serve them. So first off, let's talk about our ingredients. We're going to need a pack of bacon. And I've already taken the scissors and cut them up. I didn't figure you wanted to just stand here or sit here and watch me do that, so I went ahead and did that. We need some brown sugar, and I'm using 2 cups of that. Now before, moms start thinking, my God, the sugar. I've used sugar, and I've also used Truvia. Now this is the white granulated sugar, not the brown sugar. But I've used this cup to cup, like I would brown sugar. Same thing, can't tell the difference, and it doesn't have all the sugar calories in it. So I didn't have a brown sugar, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a standard brown sugar here. But remember, you can always use a non-sugar substitute. I need a couple tablespoons of dark molasses, a cup of ketchup, a 1/4 cup of mustard, about 1.5 teaspoons of liquid smoke. And for you people that don't necessarily use liquid smoke, it's made by Wright's and it's concentrated. You find it, usually you find it around with barbecue sauces and ketchup, and this is in the grocery store. It is nothing more than hickory logs, and what they do is as they burn them, they catch the smoke and with water and concentrated heavily, and there it is. It's just nothing but roasted hickory logs. So we use that, an onion, and a couple of 28-ounce cans of baked beans. Now, I use Van Camp's. I've tried it using Bush's and some of the other ones, and it's good. But I always like Van Camp's. I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's the brand I grew up with. I still have a little partiality to it. But that's what I'm using today is Van Camp's. I'm using 2 28-ounce cans. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by browning up the bacon. So let me go over here to the stove. I often do my bacon in a saute pan. Today I'm just going to do it in a saucepan, and a lot of that is simply because I don't want it with this, it won't spatter nearly as bad. Now, while we wait for the bacon to fry up, let's go ahead and dice our onions. Now, if these don't all get diced uniform, that's perfectly fine. I've served them with the onions diced down to 1/4 of an inch. I've served them when they've been diced down to 1/2 an inch. By the time you get done sauteing them, you know, they're all going to taste the same. So I just wouldn't worry about that. Now, I'm not going to necessarily really brown this up in the strict sort of sense of the way. What I am going to do is make sure that it's cooked. And even if I didn't, it's going to be baking at 350 degrees for an hour and a half. It'll definitely, you know, kill any bacteria that's in there. But it gives it a better taste when you start out if you've at least partially browned it. And you know me, I'm all about, you know, increasing taste. And so we're going to do that. Now, while we wait for the bacon to go ahead and fry up over there, you know, I'm always trying to encourage you to kind of step outside your comfort zone a little bit, try something new. Well, I thought it isn't very good to tell you guys to do it and not tell you about when I decide to step out of mine. I did today. And I'm not sure how it's going to go over, but I did. We have an international market here in Cincinnati. It's called Jungle Jim's. And every once in a while, he runs octopus on sale. And so I bought one. And what I've done is I've got it, I brined it, and I have it out in the smoker along with some ribs for today. And I don't really know how it's going to come out. If you'd like to know, or you'd like to have me do something like that on an episode, send me a comment. You know, write me an email. It's chefrdmiller@gmail.com, and let me know what you think. You know, it could be if I get too many thumbs down on the idea of an octopus, I'll probably leave it off then. Other than that, if I get a lot of comments saying that, yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to see it, I'll let you know how it came out before I actually do it on the episode. All right, now let's put some of the onions in. Again, we're not going to caramelize the onions. We're going to kind of sweat them until they're pretty much translucent. And then we're done. We can go ahead and assemble it. While we wait for that, we're going to go ahead and set the oven for 350 degrees. Let's go ahead and preheat it. Remember, it is a holiday. It's Labor Day, so even I get a chance to enjoy a glass of wine now and then. Cheers. Now, I wonder how many people are going to actually keep an eye on the glass and see how far down it goes during the episode. I would have. Why you sweat your onions like this, or you tend to, not caramelize them, but fry them up a little bit, is it will get rid of that raw onion taste, and that you don't want in your beans or any other dish that you're cooking. So you just go ahead and you sweat them out a little bit, and it makes them taste a little sweeter, and that's what you're actually looking for. One side advantage to putting the onions in with the bacon is when you fry up the bacon and brown it, it leaves these brown bits, kind of the bits that are burned on the bottom of the pan. When you put your onions in, a lot of water comes out of those, and that actually takes and steams up those brown bits. And actually, in those brown bits, unless it's completely burnt to a crisp, in those brown bits, there's a lot of flavor in there. So this actually helps extract some of the flavor. All right, I think we're about done here. Let me let it go for probably another couple, 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll be ready. Onions are done, so let's go ahead and turn our attention to the beans themselves. Right? First thing we want to do is we want to add our ketchup. This is a cup, and if anybody's interested, go back and watch my episode where we're making mustard and ketchup and make the same thing, save a lot of money. Mustard, here's about 1/4 cup. Molasses, a couple tablespoons of molasses. Now, I use dark molasses. Don't, for heaven's sakes, use blackstrap molasses. You'll wish you hadn't. All right? A teaspoon or teaspoon and a half of liquid smoke. And our brown sugar. Now, we'll go ahead and stir all these together. Then we'll go ahead and add our bacon onion. will stir that in as well. All right, here are our beans. Now let's go over to the stove and let's put them in the oven. All right. I put them in for an hour and a half. What I'll do is I'm going to come back after an hour and I'm just going to stir those and then put them in for the last 30 minutes and they'll be done. So we'll come back in about an hour and a half and they'll be done. Don't go away. Okay, it's been an hour, so let's go ahead and let's pull our beans out because we really need to stir them to make sure everything cooks evenly. Now look at those. Aren't those some darn good looking beans? Let's go ahead and let's stir them. Now they look very liquid right now, but don't worry, when they cool down to the point where you're ready to eat, they'll be quite a bit thicker. And especially after you put them in a refrigerator, By the way, these beans, they're just as delicious cold as they are hot. So let's go ahead and let's put them back in the oven for another, about 20 minutes. Okay, it's been an hour and a half and the beans are done. I've set them out here on the stove. I took them out and I've let them rest for about 10 minutes or so. They're still very hot, and as you notice, as you'll find out, as they cool down a little more, they'll thicken. But right now, let's go ahead and let's pull them out, let's dish them out, and let's see what they look like. All right, here's what they look like. They look very, very good, and I can guarantee you they are good. In fact, I guarantee you're going to love these beans. Try them, you'll love them. Let's go ahead and put a little garnish on there. And here we are. Go ahead, make these beans. They're delicious. They'll get you lots and lots and lots of rave reviews. And I'll bet you there'll be a lot of people that are going to ask you for the recipe. So, in the meantime, until I see you again, take care, God bless, and remember, above all else, remember my first rule. Cooking should be fun. Take care. We'll see you next episode.